two propositions that I presented last week. They almost sound like the same thing, but they're quite a bit different. On the one, from a Near Eastern perspective, the believer need not feel shame. From a Western American perspective, the believer need not experience shame. Like I said, they sound very similar, but when we dig into what that means from a cultural standpoint, they're very different, but both very true based on what a Christian's experience is promised to be in Scripture. Just as a review of the Eastern component, Mediterranean values are derived from a communal paradigm, which elevates the interconnectedness of society above all else and establishes its norms and taboos from a collectivistic context. Eastern cultures are collectivistic in nature. They elevate the group and look at things from a group perspective and what's best for the group. Whereas we are individualistic and believe in the ability of the individual to climb and the individual to rise. They're concerned about the community and what works for the community. So it's two different systems. They both have their positives and their negatives, but it's critical in establishing the two cultural paradigms. Thus, honor and shame, which we talked about last week, are not determined on the basis of a person's intrinsic character. Honor for us, and I'm going to get a little bit ahead of myself just to make the contrast. For us, honor is something that is about a person's character. It's something that they carry within them, their own moral integrity. That's what determines honor. Over there, it had nothing to do with the individual. It was something that is determined by a group. A person is shamed when their actual value or perceived value to society is diminished. I might have put it in your notes, I can't remember, but I know it was in from last week that honor is considered or defined as a person's public claim of value and the community's affirmation of that claim. So I say I'm of value to the community recognizes that I'm of value to the community. That's honor. It's not about me as an individual, but it's about my claim to be of benefit, whatever the community values. If it's carpentry, then I'm a great carpenter. The community says I'm a great carpenter. I have honor with respect to carpentry. But it was much more nuanced, and there were a lot of different value systems, political, theological, ideological, financial, that all tied into determining whether a person was a person of honor. So anything that decreased my ability to claim value, or anything that decreased the public's affirmation or agreement of my claim, was a source of shame. That when people, it got to the point that people didn't care for me, or people looked down on me, that was their idea of shame. And it was critical in determining a person's life experience. Honor and shame determine a person's life experience within their society, and also determine the experience of their family, because it wasn't just my honor as an individual, it was my whole family's honor. It wasn't just my immediate family's honor, but my extended family's honor. Whoever was the head of the house, their reputation was passed on to everybody else. Whatever the leading male was, their honor or their shame was passed on to everybody. And when you were born into a situation, you were born carrying that family's honor or their dishonor, their shame. So you can be born into a situation where everything else about your life may be okay, but nobody has any regard for you because of where you come from, and because of what your dad did, or how your mama made her living, or how your grandmother made her, or something had nothing to do with you, but you carry the shame of your ancestors, and that determined your life experience and what you were going to be and how you were going to be regarded.